What's up, family? I want to talk to all of us today about help, hope, and healing. Those are the three pillars to the recovery model. And I find a lot of times that there's ways in which we can implement the strategies from help, hope, and healing, then also grow just our awareness around the subject in general, which will help us with our relationships, our communication, our ability to respond in situations rather than react, our humility, our posture in various situations that might seem like a problem that actually could end up being an opportunity anyways. First one I want to dive into is help. So with help, what does help you? That's the question that you want to ask. And maybe what helps you is your dog. Might be your friends, might be going on a walk, might be exercise, might be therapy, it might be various things, but what it comes down to is that help is the two parts of giving and taking. You can give it and you can take it. And I know that a lot of us are familiar with giving it. Some of us aren't as much. We need to work on that too. But it's really hard for some of us to take help, for us to swallow our pride and understand that it's all right to receive help at times. And I'll get into a little thing here in a second. But let's go into give it first. So give it, a lot of times I've noticed that it's like your ability to like being a helping hand to somebody. That could be help for you where you're giving that help. Another one could be listening to someone. Literally just listening to learn and learning to listen. A lot of people are not heard. And when you give that opportunity for them to be able to speak and talk to you, it's pretty darn beautiful. Another one that I had here was just empathy and emotional support. And that kind of comes down to the listening to somebody. Because when you're dealing with so many things in your internal dialogue, when it can become external and you can have a dialogue with somebody else instead of just yourself, it gets kind of beautiful because it's a different perspective. Maybe it's something that you hadn't perceived or thought about before. Another one too is volunteering at like local church, organizations, stuff like that. Just kind of putting yourself out there, being able to give to places that are in need. And a lot of times the churches or different organizations are more sensitive to that than what we are. They know what's needed in the city and different things of that nature. So that's kind of ways that we can give help. Some ways that we can take help, receive help, is therapy. Of course, I'm a little biased, but as an occupational therapist, I know that a lot of patients, when they get that help, it's crazy to go from where they were to where they are now, whether it's mental, emotional, spiritual, or physical. Another thing too could be really letting someone help you. In life coaching, it could be guidance from your mentor in the business world or whatever career you're in. I think that receiving that help, it just takes a lot of humility and the ability to like both lead and follow. That's kind of the help, hope, and healing, the first pillar being help, to where we can really understand like help is giving and receiving. And sometimes the biggest takers in life are the ones that will not receive. I'm gonna say that one more time for that to really settle in and hit home. The biggest takers are the ones that won't receive. So think about that. Whenever somebody's trying to give you something, whether it's financial support, guidance, they want to pray for you, something like that, and you're like, no, I'm okay. Even if you're okay, why wouldn't you take that? Why wouldn't you let somebody help you? And I understand sometimes people are a little too pushy, and if that's a boundary that you need to make, then that's perfect, because that's gonna help you as well. But I will say that there's a lot of times in life where we're robbing people of the opportunity to bless us because they want to. They want to help you. And so sometimes that's our biggest Achilles heel, if you will, is receiving help. I wanted to make sure that I sharpened on that one a lot with the help pillar, because that's one of the biggest parts is receiving it. Next is hope. Hope is super powerful. It's the future. It's faith, the betterment of you. You hope to be better, I hope. But the hope, there's a definition that comes with that too. And hope is having the expectation that somehow someone or something will change your circumstances for the better. With that definition, there's also biblical hope, understanding that our circumstances don't define us, because happiness depends upon what happens, and joy is something internal from the Lord, and you can call upon it whenever you want. It gets pretty darn beautiful when you can reap joy in situations and have that hope that his promises are true. Now, beyond the biblical part, we come back to the normal definition. Expectations and attitude is what I find in that definition. And so when it comes to attitude, a lot of people just look at attitude as positive or negative. And I don't think positive or negative are necessarily healthy. The polar extremes of that are not always healthy. Now, if I had a choice, I would choose to be in a manic position and like super positive and be oblivious to everything and die that way instead of being negative. But some examples might be positive, like you're super hyped, you're super excited, and you're saying like, hey, all these people are telling me this stuff, but it's, going in one ear, out the other, and I'm doing my best, I'm doing these drugs, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, but you know what, I'm alive and I'm breathing. I'm here, baby. And it's like, wow. Like if you're so positive, sometimes negatives are gonna come get you, and that's not so good. So that's the positive, that's the only unhealthy version of positive. Whereas negative is, I just went to a different energy when I'm in negative. So it's like, what? What are you looking at? What are you smiling at? We're all gonna die anyways. What's the freaking point? Stupid. Whatever, I don't care. So that's negative, right? And it's like, we don't want that either. That's not healthy. But the best energy in terms of attitude is what's neutralized through gratitude. So whenever I'm in gratitude, I've never been super angry, jealous, and bitter when I'm in gratitude, in my thankfulness spirit. So that's kind of a part of the hope, being in a grateful state or achieving one, getting into it. Because where focus goes, energy grows, right? So I'm able to get into that hopeful state and change it. So that's really what I want to talk about with the attitude. Now, the second part is expectations. So when we go into that, a lot of people talk about expectations are high or low and to calibrate your expectations accordingly. But I want to encourage us to say, let's not just do high or low, because high expectations, those can get really unhealthy. Low expectations, those can get really unhealthy too, because you always expect the worst. Expect the worst, hope for the best. I don't like that. That's never shown to be fruitful in my life or anyone else's that I've seen live by it. Instead, how about you prepare for the worst, hope for the best, and accept whatever comes? That is beautiful. That is something that I can rock with. Now, when we look at expectations though, let's not do the high and low. Let's change the paradigm here and say that expectations are to be in yourself, and that's it. Don't put expectations in other people. Put them in yourself and God, and show up with your standards, because we don't get our goals, we get our standards. Let's be real here. So that's our opportunity, is to always embrace our expectations for ourselves and to refine as we go how we want to show up in life. So one for me, expectation-wise, is that I always want to show love. I want to show a response over a reaction. Do I always achieve that? No. That's why I have Jesus, and I'm thankful for that, and I'm working on it always. That's the opportunity with my expectation for me, is love, is to be growth-minded, to always grow throughout, and to listen to learn and learn to listen. So those are my expectations for myself. And I know that God's going to show up for me in whatever capacity needs necessary. So let's use an example of, let's say that I've got a wife, which I don't anymore, but it's been a beautiful journey in that, and I'm super happy for both of us. And I do know that this expectations part was healthy with us. And so what I've seen in beautiful marriages is, let's say that you go home and you're feeling aroused. You go to her and you're expecting her to reciprocate. You're making moves and she's not reciprocating. So then you start getting pissed off. You're like, yo, what's going on? You seeing somebody else? This, and this, I'm not attractive anymore? What's going on? You see how this downward spiral starts to start? Because my expectations were in who? Her, not me. So let's rewind and take a step back and go back into it and say, I have my expectations in me and I feel the way that I feel. I can't control that. I'm feeling aroused and I come to her, but I deny myself for a second, because love is selfless, not selfish. So when I get home to her, I say, baby, hey, how was your day? And she explains to me, I feel her energy. She's like, I'm super thankful, but this and this happened, and I'm feeling just a little bit discouraged, but I'm working through it. Love is patient, it's kind, it's understanding. I probably better not jump on it right now. Sex and intimacy is probably not the best idea right now. So I deny myself and I say, baby, that is so heavy. I'm so sorry. Maybe we can talk this over. I'll get you on the couch over here. We can maybe massage your neck and you can tell me more about it. We can process it together. And then we go do that, right? And as we're doing it, as I'm massaging her and listening to her, I'm not even giving solutions, because that's not what she wants. She just wants to be heard. So I continue to listen. We process through it. She feels heard. She feels loved. And then she turns around, starts making out. We end up making love. Now, was that my expectation though? No. My expectation was to love my significant other to the absolute fullest. And what's crazy about that is that you either win or you learn. In those situations, with a relationship, with business, whatever it is, I either win or I learn, because it's up to me. If it is to be, it's up to me. God willing, I will until. So that's the hope. With attitude and expectations, attitude of gratitude, expectations in yourself and God, that will help our hope. The last piece is healing. Guys, we all want to experience that, because it's a constant process. And what I'll say about healing too is that it is a process of the physical, the mental, the emotional, and the spiritual aspects of our life growing all the time. So the physical might be an injury. That's why I'm actually wearing this. I don't know why I didn't say that in the very beginning, but I hurt my shoulder today a little bit playing ultimate frisbee. So I am doing my best to be a steward of my body and ice it for 20 to 30 minutes. And I figure, why not get the video going while I'm helping myself with the hope that it'll get better and the healing process that is required. So that's kind of the physical. Mental might be therapy, life coaching, having a brother or sister in Christ where you can process some things. Emotional, the same exact thing, where you can actually release some of that. You can learn how to alchemize it and to tell yourself you're allowed to experience it in your own body and move on from that. Another thing too, spiritually, might be the belief that God's gonna show up. Just knowing that is really true really eliminates all resistance and anxiety for me. All the alarms that exist in my body, they are gone, because I know that He's gonna show up for me. And if something happens to me, okay, what an opportunity. He will be glorified throughout. So that's the opportunity, guys, with the healing. And I'll say this too, that I said healing, not healed. Because a lot of us have that expectation that, oh, I'm going to be healed someday. I'm going to challenge that and say, probably not. We're always going to be healing in some level or another. If I take a seed and I put it in the ground, am I going to have the plant the very next day? No. What do I have to do? I need to water it. I need to nurture it with love, sunshine, continue to give to it, right? And then when that plant comes to fruition, I can't just say, all right, see you later, walk away. No, I get to continue to nurture and love it the best that I can. Now I'll ask you this, what happens when life happens and it just rips that plant right out of the ground? What do? You plant a new seed. And maybe you were actually growing in the concrete where it wasn't conducive for you. You were in the wrong crowd. You were in the wrong place at the wrong times to where it just was kind of constantly against you. So then you got out of there and you put yourself in beautiful soil. And now you're doing it again the best that you can. And you're not even starting over because this is a new seed. You're still you, but it's a new seed. So you're starting again, not over, with all your experiences and understanding in life and love. So that's what I want to encourage all of us with the seed, that it's progress, not perfection. So continue to look at it as progress. If I look at the staircase, a lot of us look at a staircase, we want to be at the very top of it, and we get frustrated because you can't have a frustration without an expectation. So when expectations are in me, it's way healthier, right? We go back to hope now. But that's the cool thing, is like, it's progress, not perfection. I expect myself to make progress the most that I can and to continue to grow with that. And that is really a forever process. So if I look at the staircase, what's crazy about that is we're all looking at the top of the staircase and we're frustrated that we're not there. Whether it's business, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, my abundance just isn't here yet. And I'm upset about it. Okay, but the way that we view things is the way that we do things. And when I change the way that I look at things, the things that I look at change. So what if I saw this staircase and I'm looking at the first step that I was ever at, but I noticed that I'm not at the first step. I'm a couple steps up. That's beautiful. Celebrate the journey, not just each milestone or a success. That's good. But let's not get our dopamine rush only from each success. Let's fall in love with the journey of a physical transformation, doing the reps, doing the work, being hydrated, being able to nourish my body well afterwards, being able to grow in my thoughts and expand my mind when I'm pursuing different situations. That is the journey, and that is our opportunity here, guys. So what I'll say is there's help, there's hope, and there's healing. The three pillars of the recovery model. And a lot of times we think maybe one's more important than the other. And what I'll say to that is, maybe in the season of your life that you're in, maybe help rings a little more true for you. You just need a little more help. And then you've already got the hope in your attitude and expectations, and you'll experience the healing. Or maybe it's don't have the hope. You have the help, but you don't have hope. You have faulty expectations and attitude, and there's not healing. So it's like, what I'll say is like, if I go get help with a bad attitude, bad expectations, no hope, I'm not gonna experience much healing. And vice versa, where if I have good attitude, expectations, but I don't go get help because I can't get past my pride, I'm not gonna experience much healing. So all three are necessary to embrace recovery and to continue to heal and grow in our lives. It's ing, not ed. I'm healing. Every single one of us is an unfinished masterpiece. I just want to encourage you and tell you that you are so loved. You are such a beautiful person. And whatever you've done, whatever you're set back with and feel that you're not worthy, God can forgive it. God can overcome it. He already has for you. Jesus Christ did it. And that's what I'm here to say to you guys. I'm here on this journey with you. I'm doing my very best to be my best, to reflect his image in moments. And I do fall short. I will continue to. I say that. I'm sorry. I don't want to manifest that, but it is true. I'm going to fall short, but I'm going to keep on doing my best. I'm going to keep on listening to learn, learning to listen, and grow through it. And I know that all of us can too. So please like and subscribe to this channel. We got a lot more content coming to where we can all live and love this life to the fullest. Let's go out there and be abundant. Love you guys.